Hello everybody, I'm that Kamen Rider guy, and I am doing a quick My Thoughts video. So, I'm going to try not to ramble too long about this and just talk about my overall thoughts. Some spoilers here, some not spoilers, so take that with what you will. So, it is a new Sentai season, and Osama Sentai King-Ohger had its grand finale about a month ago, roughly. It's been over for a minute, and this video is actually overdue, so I did a little polling on the YouTube channel and asked, hey, who wants me to talk about Osama Sentai King-Ohger? Why? Well, because last time I did a My Thoughts video, which is on the Borderlands 2, or not 2, the Borderlands movie, did not do well. At all, no one liked it. But anyways, and people wanted me to do this one, so I'm doing it. So, as far as unconventional Sentai goes, I would say King-Ohger is one of the most unconventional Sentai in the history of Super Sentai. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I loved Osama Sentai, which is what I'll be referring it to. Or just King-Ohger, because the whole title is a bit long. Anyways, now, with Kamen Rider, Ultraman, and Super Sentai, usually there's a shtick, a theme, a merit they usually go to. Like a bug theme for Kamen Rider, Warrior of Light, and Hidden Identity for Ultraman. And for Sentai, it's got a few things that make it a Sentai, but this one went against the quote-unquote norms of a Sentai in many ways that were wonderful. So, what did I like about King-Ohger? Well, a lot, actually. There was a few things I didn't like. So, King-Ohger is roughly in 3 parts. The Kings against the Bugnarok, the midway part, which you could call anything realistically. You don't need me to tell you what to call it. And then the Kingdoms against the Jesters and Space King. So, I love how it's, in the beginning, it really takes its time to set up the world and what King-Ohger is. I don't even think we got the opening to King-Ohger until episode like 6 or 7. And it worked out wonderfully because it takes time in different episodes setting up the 5 different kingdoms, what they're about, what their history is, and what the individual kings, because each Sentai member is a king of their own country, and what their goals and ambitions are. Now, I won't get into too many details about many of the things, because this is going to be I don't want this to be a super long My Thoughts video. But anyways, I love the suits, the finishers, the weapons. Can't wait for the memorial to come out. Oh, it's going to be a great unboxing. But, yeah, I love the Gira is easily one of the best characters in the show. Great actor too, though. And I loved all the individual kings and their little gimmicks. Like, you had the King of Tofu, who was always manipulative, and you never knew whose side he was on. Then you've got the incredibly narcissistic king of basically the only technological kingdom. Like, everywhere else is rural, ancient, like medieval, or something else. And it's great. And then when Jeremy, the 6th Ranger, gets involved, things become a whole crazy whack of what's going on. And it's great. So King-Ohger starts off with, you've got the humans versus the Bugnarok, which are these underground bug people who they've been, quote-unquote, at war with for 2,000 years, and their ancient ancestors, the first kings, were the first ones to fight against the Bugnarok. Now, a bunch of fighting goes back and forth. They form King-Ohger, their robot. They fight. There's a bunch of back and forth. Jeremy is revealed to be a child of a Bugnarok and a human. So he is an offspring of the typical unholy union, that kind of trope, and it works wonderfully. It's great. I love it. Like, Jeremy is easily one of my favorite 6 Rangers in Sentai now, and all the characters and actors are great, and it was amazing. Anyways, then after the Bugnarok are defeated, the main leader is taken down in a very dramatic way, and Rackless, the evil king, is assumed dead. It moves on to a bit of a time shift and to the midway point where it starts to introduce the Space King guy, whose name I cannot pronounce and I'm not going to try right now. And then it becomes a whole thing of, it turns out, the entire history of these kingdoms has been manipulated by a literal space bug king emperor guy who wanted to, so he has a job, a responsibility of cleaning up the universe. Basically, if something's taking up space, he can just flick it away and it's gone, it's destroyed, and it's cleaning up. But he finds this extremely boring. So across unknown number of planets, he makes the inhabitants of worlds fight each other so that they clean up themselves so he doesn't have to do it, and two, it makes it amusing for him. Usually what he'll do is he'll send one of his 5 jesters down to the world to do so in some way. And that's what was going on with the humans and the Bugnarok of the world of King-Ohger, is that a jester was manipulating the entire thing. Now, the good rest of King-Ohger is about the jesters versus Osama Sentai. And eventually, once the jesters are either sealed away or killed, because they eventually get the power to kill an immortal, because the jesters are, by all purposes, immortal unless using extreme means, including the Space King himself. Once they gain the power to kill an immortal, it becomes, hey, we gotta eliminate the jesters one by one and then get rid of the king. And it's a wild ride. And honestly, when it shifted from, hey, we're fighting against survival against these underground bugs that want to kill us, to, hey, there's this weird space overlord guy, I almost lost interest, but I kept watching because I wanted to see where it was going, and I'm glad I did. Because King-Ohger, while this shift, from what I've seen from a lot of people's perspective, is seen negatively, I think a lot of people agree that it ends up being really good. Because you get to see more backstory as to the individual kingdoms and how the kings became kings, and a bunch of other crazy stuff. And I really enjoyed it. I did. And the grand finale, which is, I'd say it's a 3-parter, and the last 3 episodes are basically one giant grand finale. Holy, it is amazing. It adds parts from the movie that came out, so there's a 30-minute movie that came out in theaters for King-Ohger, but I'd say it was more of a special because it aired right before the Geet Summer movie, which was still being aired at the time, and it involves it basically explains the land of the dead and where people go in King-Ohger when they die. And that takes part in the final grand finale because it's such a big battle that the dead are brought back to life to help fight off the king and his endless waves of soldiers and whatnot. And yeah, so my thoughts on King-Ohger. I liked it. I did. 8 out of 10. Again, there were some moments where I'm like, what's going on here? Or, man, this really seems unnecessary. But it kept me entertained. It kept me enthralled. And it was a really good ride from start to finish. It's a bit of a slog, 50 episodes, but it's enjoyable. And I would recommend it to any Sentai fan, new, old, or what have you, because it doesn't really tie in. Well, it does tie into one Sentai, but it's fine. You don't need to know about the Sentai to... So there's a few episodes where they celebrate an anniversary of an older Sentai. Not too old, but anyways, I'm trailing off. But you don't need to have a huge amount of information on Super Sentai to watch King-Ohger and enjoy it. And if you don't, hey, that's fine. That's fine. It's not going to be for everybody. But I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great Sentai for anyone to start. And after I'm done recording and editing this video, I am starting Boomger. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's Boomger, I believe. Like Boon with an N and then Boom. So, I've said this before, I hate the Boomger suits. Mainly the helmets. I hate the helmets. They're terrible. Ugh, that could have used more work. But anyways, that being said, I really enjoyed King-Ohger. I hope you guys did. And if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it. Because again, you don't need to know about past Sentai. Anyways, that's all I've got for now. I hope you guys enjoyed my little rant, my thoughts, my spiel. And let me know which ranger in King-Ohger is your favorite. So, anyways, thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you did, I'll see you guys in the next one. Got more unboxings and some celebrations soon if you keep subscribing. And remember, it's always Attention time!